Okay. Am I audible? Yes or no? Perfect. I request everyone to scan this QR code, take out your mobile phones, and today we are going to do something interesting. You know what? We are going to discover your genesis for the day. Your time starts now. So what it is going to happen is, your screen is going to pop up with one question that says, who you are today. Just answer the question, whatever you feel, and the best part is, your answers is going to get reflected live. Okay, I can see some of the responses, yet waiting for more. Oh, that's great. The graph is still increasing. People are saying they are enthusiastic, learner, a curious mind, Mayank. Hello, Mayank. Learner, passionate, curious person, powerful, content. Oh, that's great. 2x TEDx Speaker. Yeah, happy. Okay. Thank you so much. Few years back, I reflected myself, looked myself into a mirror. Sounded like a perfect day. My outfit was right and the makeup was perfect. But my smile was completely practiced. After a while, when I looked at my reflection in the mirror, I understood I had built an image and not an identity. And that made me think to rediscover who I am. And that moment, I understood what I have to do and what works life journey I have to start with. And I did, helping people rediscover who they are before the world tell them who to be. Because the reflection that I was looking in the mirror about me, I got to understand that I was everything the world wanted me to be except myself. And that's the genesis of personal brand. The spark that enlightens every curiosity, every invention, every discovery, and every interaction starts with a question which says, why does the apple fall down? Why not light could bend? Why don't we bring whole world on a single screen? Isn't it massive? It started with a question. It started with a curious mind. And you know what? The time you stop asking people, what should I post? And start asking, what do you believe? And that's the power of personal brand. Because that is going to make you sound a curious mind. You must understand, the curiosity, if you want to grow, it should not be just upward, but it should be inward. And that's what the spark of curiosity is. It tells you a question that you should not search for the outer world, but you should always recognize within. Because curiosity is not just about exploring the world, it's about exploring yourself. If you want to understand, personal branding is not a social media. Personal branding begins in silence. Personal branding is not a design or publicity. It starts with one simple question that says, who am I? And another, who am I becoming? When I started my journey as a personal branding coach, I noticed something fascinating. People were not curious or confused about what they want. They were confused about what the world wanted them from. And that was the question, a powerful one. I was working one fine day with my senior executive and I asked him a question. What truly moves you? He paused And after that, a while he whispered and said, "My daughter's first drawing." How fantastic it was to listen. And that person was truly brilliant, a strong mind, and a curious person. And when he answered, "My daughter's first drawing," there his brand was born, not from his title, but from his truth. That's the power of personal branding. Personal branding drives you from what you do to who you are. Curiosity takes you from, as I said, what you do to who you are. That's the power of personal branding and discovering your genesis. The second book, Transform, made me understand that transformation doesn't happen from the outward, and transformation doesn't happen from someone else. You must know how to grow inward, and that's the power of curiosity. Curiosity doesn't change with how much you know. It changes how deeply we understand ourselves. As I told you, my first book, Roots, Brand and Image, coming back. The roots are your beliefs, your values, your purpose, your story, and your scars. And that's what is going to stay you alive. And curiosity is something that waters them and helps them grow strong. That's the power of, again, personal branding. And when you discover a right personal brand, it stops being a performance, it stops being a volume, and it starts being a presence. Every discovery, every innovation, every moment began because someone asked a question. Curiosity fuels innovation, empathy, and creation. And personal branding is same. It is going to make you rise with your innovation, your value, your creation, and empathy. Curiosity enlightens empathy, and empathy enlightens influence. That's the power of influence. And you know what? The influence, when starts and becomes a massive one, it makes you an authentic brand, because there the authenticity gets discovered within you. There are 3 truths to become a curious brand. If you feel you really have to discover your brand, number 1, the first truth is be curious about yourself. Second is be curious about others. And third is be curious about the world. Be curious about yourself. Ask yourself how true and honest you are to carry yourself. Ask yourself what energizes me and what drains me. That's really, really very important when you go ahead and understand who you are and who you are becoming. And you know what? The truth and honesty that you are going to carry, you must understand. If it is not true and honest, you must understand that you should live the thing there itself to understand how curious you are and how good you can do within you, just to reflect the positive aura around you. Number 2, be curious about others. Let others speak and you listen more. There's the brand story starts. Because when others talk, the conversation doesn't go ahead with what you talk, but what you listen and what others talk. And that is what is going to start you with a conversation that reflects your brand recognition and your brand influence. Number 3, be curious about the world. You know what? The strongest brands are not making noise. They are listening, every one of us. The world doesn't need to understand and hear the noises. They want to hear the voice. The voices that are clear, cautious, and curious. The 3 things that ever is going to turn you a massive change with the genesis discovering your brand. I'm really fascinated with the theme of today, this year, with TEDxADMI, that says, curiosity powered by Genesis or Genesis powered by curiosity. I really love the word Genesis. That says beginning of everything. And you know, That question that sparks in every mind of us is the beginning of curiosity within you. That says who you are, what you are doing, and how you are going to become and transform yourself. Always ask, if you have to bring and brought up as a strong personal brand, the 3 questions that says who you are, how you want others to perceive you, and how people are perceiving you as. Isn't a big difference in second and third pointer? Of course it is. You must think about it. And you remember the girl, the one in the mirror? Yes, of course, it was me. The power of personal branding, curiosity, and genesis makes you turn your brand from reflection to revolution. And that's the again powerful agenda of the genesis. Now the girl, the one, she was going to reflect herself, and she was reflecting herself in the mirror. Now she has turned into a revolution. Not being or not listening to the world, what world is expecting her, but she's now just curious. She is curious about how many lives she can touch. She is curious about how much she can grow. She is curious to understand how much change and truth she can be and carry with herself. Curiosity enlightens the spark within us, and authenticity is the destination. And you know what? The day you stop asking people, do you like me? And start asking yourself, do I like, what am I becoming? That's the power of personal brand, and that's the power of genesis that you are going to discover. And I'm pretty sure again, because the start of this talk was with discovering your today's genesis. And that was really interesting, because I really saw the great minds listening to me today. And I congratulate every one of you sitting here. The genesis is personal brand. And personal brand doesn't start with social media. It starts in silence. But the genesis of personal brand begins in silence. It begins in that quiet moment when you dare to ask yourself again the 3 questions that says, who am I, what do I stand for, and what I am becoming. That's the power of genesis. Because, as I said, curiosity is the authenticity, and authenticity is the destination. Curiosity is the spark, authenticity is the flame, and together we create a genesis. Thank you so much.